Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to the Road to Glory here with Derby. It is a massive game today for us. We take on Manchester City, who have strengthened a little bit since we last saw them. You can kind of see the team they're using in the bottom right of your screen with it'll be Edison in goals, Kimmich, Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, and Declan Rice in the middle with Gnabry, Jesus, and Foden. Since you last saw us, we have gone on an absolute tear. Look at this run of results that we've managed to get. And in this game here against Wolves, it was Liam Delap that stepped up with a hat-trick to salvage a point. But we went on a big run here. You can see that we changed the system here in that Fulham game. Got a 3-0 win, and away we went. We knocked off Bournemouth 5-2, Southampton 3-1, Leicester 2-1, Everton 3-1, Chelsea 3-0, this was the big one, and Tottenham 2-0 before we got the Wolves game in there. This is what it looks like at the moment. We've avoided relegation, and if you told me that first season in the Premier League that we would be above Arsenal, I would have absolutely bitten your arm off in order to get that. But, you know, Arsenal obviously not had the best of seasons, 15 draws. They have sacked Mikel Arteta, and Per Mertesacker is the caretaker coach. The three teams that are relegated are Burnley, Bournemouth, and Watford. And the one thing that we need to be mindful of is that our boy, Dwight McNeil, is transfer listed, but he's valued at 36 million. So I'm very tempted, to be perfectly honest, because Dwight McNeil is a fantastic player. I do have scouts wanting to look at him at the moment, but this is your team. It's going to be Orellano in the 10, in the 10 with Smolich, with Louis Watson just making the bench to make the numbers up. But this is the team. It's Morales, Herrera, Sotalo, Koch, Zamora, Bird, Patino, Yankovic, Orellano, Jovalic, because Delap can't play, obviously, against his parent club, and Traore is going to play up front, who has been a little bit disappointing, I'm not going to lie. Has big boy Traore. Like, I might need to try and use him more so off the bench when we need a goal, when we throw someone up front that's got that pace. But from the start, I think he scored 3 goals, I reckon, from his time here with us. But he's been a good squad player to have, and we've needed the depth because Dane Scarlett went back to Spurs. And it's actually interesting, I might need to look at where Harry Kane is, because when we played Tottenham, we actually played against Dane Scarlett. And why has Morales just hoofed that out? There's absolutely no pressure there from Man City, and Morales has hoofed it. But regardless, I'm at the point where I'm starting to try and clean the squad up now so I can have a look at what money we're going to have available to us in the window. We're starting to look at moving on Loris Karius. He's on 40k a week. We've got Morales behind him as well now as an established number 1 goalkeeper. So if we can, we've almost conceded there, but if we can bring in 10 or so million just from Loris Karius, if we can get rid of Bielik and a few other people, we might be able to get ourselves up to about 20 million and start looking to piece a deal potentially for Dwight McNeil, because he can either play shadow striker or the advanced forward. There's also Matthias Cunha on the transfer list for like 9 million. He would be absolutely fantastic for us, but at the moment, let's focus on who's here, and it's Traore looking for Jovalic, and I don't quite know if we're going to get Delap back next season because we've technically still got 3 players on loan here, so I have to wait for one of their loans to expire. And at the moment, of the players that are here on loan, we're using Patino and Delap and White. Actually, to be fair, we're using all 3 of them quite regularly, but we're going to have to pull one of those back as Declan Rice does get a goal for Man City, which is not what we want to see, which is definitely not going to be fantastic for us. So let's encourage the boys. This is going to be a tough game. Liverpool have already been crowned champions. They are flying. City really aren't playing for much, but this is just a good test to see where we're at and how this shape goes against a big opposition. Although we did get a draw with Manchester City at Pride Park, playing them at the Etihad is a very different proposition. But here's Charlie Patino. Look at that ball from Bird. He has just gone from strength to strength this year. He has been fantastic. We find Yankovic to Patino, who floats his header but only wide, and we are going towards the away end as well, so it'd be nice of us to potentially grab a goal going to the away end. But the fact that we've avoided relegation season 1 is absolutely massive. We've given the ball away stupidly again. It's Gabriel Jesus who puts it wide. But I'm actually really surprised. When we were on that really poor run of form, I thought we were done. I thought there was no way we're avoiding relegation. I couldn't find a shape that's worked. We have used something similar to this in the past, obviously not with the inverted wing backs. I am really enjoying the inverted wing backs. It gives them really good variation, and it makes this system not predictable as a great ball. And Gnabry, wow, how has Serge Gnabry not absolutely pelted that one into the back of the net? We've gotten away with murder. But I really want to just see over these last 4 games how far up the ladder we can climb, because, you know, realistically, what are we, 7 points out of European places? We'd have to be pretty well perfect, and a few teams are going to have to lose out. So I'm not saying that we're going to make Europe, but the gap's not that big. And the fact that we went on such a poor run of form in the middle of this season, maybe it's because, there we go, there's 2-0, or was that offside? That looks like it's definitely 2-0. But I think part of why the season's so congested is that World Cup congestion, which has made it probably a bit even. It's almost made it like everyone's had European football. So the teams that have had European football have struggled more. So Jankovic is now off, which is fantastic. So now we've got to play the rest of this game with 10 men. And we're going to just put Oriolano in there. We'll play Traore in the shadow strike. Actually, we won't even worry about the shadow striker. We'll just go 2 advanced forwards. I think that'll just be better. There we go. We'll just drop the number 10. We'll keep our midfield 3 and just pray that we can hit City on the break. But 2-0, this one is pretty well done. I'm expecting probably 5 or 6, which, again, is pretty realistic. Teams like us do rock up to the Etihad and get slapped up. It's more that I don't want that being on the YouTube episode, but it doesn't matter. This episode's not about us, pardon me again, trying to stay up or anything. It's just showcasing the system, which unfortunately we're not able to showcase the system properly because we've gotten the red card. I just want to double check that we don't have Gets. We don't even have Get Stuck in on, so that's frustrating. There's a long ball towards Joveljic. Again, not ideal preparation, but we've gone on such a good run to the point where we've managed to stay up and we're not worried about getting relegated, that we've probably run out of steam a little bit and we'll kind of regress to the mean for these last few games of the season. It definitely wouldn't surprise me. So, my big question, guys, is number 1, what do you think we need in order to take the next step? I think we're just lacking that little bit of quality. That's a good ball as well. We're lacking a little bit of quality. We're not going to have banks of money to spend as well. We need to be mindful that we're not going to get, you know, a war chest at the moment to spend. We need to be mindful of who we loan in. If it's Patino and it's Delap straight away, then we just need to make those deals happen. We might have to start paying their wages because we're not going to be able to extend their loans unless I can cancel the loan of Harvey White, which would be frustrating because he's a good player. If he could somehow put a transfer request in, that would be fantastic. And if we could buy him, then I'd be very, very happy to put the money down for Harvey White so we could loan in Patino or Delap again for another season, because they've become really important pillars in this shape. I've tried to not use Patino as much lately because I'm starting to plan for Arsenal maybe not letting us have him back on loan, because he's actually developed really well and he's starting to get close to his potential. I'm going to pump the fist. That wasn't good enough. I'm not going to say much because there's not much to say. We're down to 10 men and we are also 2-0 down. So the atmosphere at the moment is definitely not fantastic, but we'll just ride with it. As long as Robin Koch doesn't get himself sent off like we did against Chelsea, I reckon it was, early in the season at Stamford Bridge. But we've just seen the quality of Man City in this game. They knocked the ball around so well. I really want to try. I wish I could build a system that resembled this City team, because I really struggle when it comes to 4-3-3s at the moment. I don't know what it is, and Foden really does need to score that. Are they going to show me the roles? I've got an AP, an inside forward, a centre mid, a Mazzala, a DM. Apparently the false 9 is really overpowered. at the moment, which could be something we look into. I like how they go with the one inverted wing back in Cancelo on the left-hand side as well. So the AI's definitely got the knowledge, more so than I do, around what's overpowered in the game in comparison. But let's get rid of Charlie Patino. That's what he looks like at the moment. He is developing very, very nicely, and I'd be very keen to have him as part of our squad. But we're going to bring White on as well. We probably could go out and buy White. He hasn't played as much this year because he just hasn't really made it in the squad. But what's his wage? He's only on 3K. We could probably find a way to buy White potentially, which might be something that we look at doing to bolster the midfield. So I know it's not an improvement. January next year, we get Rooney Badgie in the squad. So hopefully by then he's eligible for a work permit, so we can throw him straight in the shadow striker role. Or even potentially up front as well. I know he's more of a winger, but he's definitely a quality player. And we do have a few good players out on loan who I'm hoping can get themselves work permits. We've got a really good midfielder from Norway coming in, who's out on loan in either, I think he's in Korea potentially, or Japan at the moment. Trying to get him just into that Norwegian national team just so we can get the points together to get his work permit, because that's the one thing I hate about being in England, is it's just hard to get players work permits, really, because they need to be playing practically for their country. And our mantra is we're meant to be signing players who are under 23 for the first team, and that is quite hard unless you spend some pretty big money or you go to like Croatia practically. I feel like Croatia is one of the only countries I've managed to go and spend only little money, but you know, their reputation is high enough to cover the work permit practically. So that's pretty well where we're at. We might have to just start looking at those Eastern European countries that do, you know, provide us with work permits more so than the Scandinavian countries. That's what I'm noticing at the moment, that it's actually, to be fair, the Swiss boys, a lot of them have been granted work permits, but I think we might need to start really looking into Serbia and Croatia for their established, you know, under 21 players, because they tend, like, such as, you know, Satalos and the other centre back we've got as well, the left-footed one. I can't remember his name now off the top of my head. I reckon it's here. It is not here. Well done, Paul. That's fantastic. So Herrera can have a break for Ebiseli to get him some minutes as well. So sorry this hasn't been the most fantastic episode. We've gotten absolutely destroyed by Manchester City, but that does happen. We just need to be prepared that that's going to happen until we get to their level. But what I want in the comments of this episode is what you want to see from me moving forward. What positions do you think that we need upgraded, or what things need to be tweaked, or staff, or any of those type of things? Get them in the comments. Let me know. Make sure you follow the stream as well on Twitch, Paulie29, to have your say live on what happens. I do stream this save quite a bit as well, so it's not purely YouTubers. Fabian, who I tried signing, unfortunately scores against us, which is a bit disappointing, but it is what it is. I'm gonna encourage the boys because I want them up and about, but they might not take this too well. And Zamora looks absolutely shattered as well, and we'll take him off for Ferrasi, and we'll swap those two around. So there we go. 20 minutes to play. Not the game we were hoping for, but I'm very excited for next season. I think, or hopefully, if we can get 30 million in, it will get us probably 2 quality players. I need to stop just spending money for the sake of spending money. I think we just need to really start identifying that this is going to be the shape, because I've really enjoyed this shape. And then we need to put together who's the starting 11 and where are the biggest holes, who's not in the squad, who is in the squad. Let's try. I know last season we tried cleaning out some of that dead wood, but it was really hard to get rid of players like Bielik and Knight as well. So we really need to try and get rid of those guys just to free up some wage. And then we can go from there at least and start targeting some younger players that are going to develop with us. Our youth intake this year wasn't very good in comparison to last season as well, which was quite disappointing. I was hoping for a little bit better from the youth intake, but I am very confident that we are on the right path to some form of success here with Derby. The fact that we've managed to avoid relegation with a team that was predicted to go down the last 2 seasons, Obviously, we're predicted to finish bottom of the Championship last year, and we're predicted bottom of the Premier League this year. And the fact that we could potentially finish above Arsenal, because we actually play Arsenal on the last game of the season, so there's a real big possibility that we do stay ahead of them. I would love us to get up to sort of where West Ham is. You know, they're only 2 points away from us, and it looks like we've got a game in hand. I know the last 2 games are Arsenal-Burnley, I think, or Burnley-Arsenal. It's either one of this, whatever order it is. And then I'm not sure who the next game is in particular, but that's a good save by Morales, and that is pretty well going to be the end of the game. 28 shots to 3, 14 on target to 1. We've gone down 4-0 at the Etihad. I did expect this. It wasn't a surprise. Man City are a very, very good team, and you can see why they are sitting second in the Premier League at this stage. Obviously, Liverpool have been fantastic at this point of the save, as well as Kimmich floats a great ball in towards Rodri. Look at these names, though. It's Cancelo, Rodri, Declan Rice, Kimmich, you know, Gabby Jesus. I'm surprised I haven't got another striker up there, but that is full time. We go down 4-0 to Man City. Oh, I said the wrong thing. I'm furious. Whatever, I just lost them all because I hit the wrong button. Doesn't matter. I misread it. Is what it is. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all very, very soon for another episode of our Road to Glory with Darby.